about to talk to the gentleman who is the founder of the JXN Film Festival, Mr. Maximus Wright. My good brother, Mr. Maximus Wright. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey. So it's coming up. It's getting close.
Yeah, man.
It's about to go down. For people who are not aware of what's happening, we're going to get them in the know today. Tell us about the JXN Film Festival.
The JXN Film Festival, this is our third in-person year. This is a festival for independence. You know, this is a festival trying to empower our people primarily to realize that they have an obligation to tell our stories. This is not us begging for Hollywood to give us a seat at the table. This is us saying we deserve to build our own, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So it's a week of events. We're celebrating the 45th anniversary of Wiz this year. We have Hollywood executives coming here. It's becoming a regional festival. We have our first international team coming in from Ontario, Canada. They're going to be in the hospitality state for their first time. So
yeah.
We got a lot going on, man. A lot.
So this is what year?
Third.
It's the third year of the JXN Film Festival, and it's starting to grow and it's getting bigger every year. So let's rewind. Let's talk about how we got to year 3. Let's talk about the formation of the festival. Let's talk about the inspiration behind the festival. How did all of this come about? How did we get here?
It initially started with Tech JXN. You know, you and I were on the board with Tech JXN, and we were talking about what can we do for filmmakers. That's why we have a mini film festival. You know, you got to be careful about ideas because that's how you're not going to make it happen.
Yeah. You are the head of that committee. That's how I do it all the time. You got that idea, you are the committee chair. Take care of it.
So it was virtual in 2020. Next year we came out. Candace Love Jackson was helping me on that, and she said, this is the 25th anniversary of A Time to Kill. So, of course, working with City, City has to move at their pace, so we were kind of running out of time.
Very slow pace that is, yes.
So we launched out on our own, and that's how it got started. And I was done after that, but Candace was like, no, we're gonna do this again. And we got Esther Young to come in, another Tuvaluan, no shameless plug at all, to college.
All right.
And we've been growing since then, man. We're building. We're on a mission to make 100 filmmakers in the next 7 years. If you do the hashtag JXN Film Festival, you'll see a whole lot of stuff we've done in the last 3 years, and we're very proud of it.
What have been some of the challenges? Having creative festivals and events myself, I know running into a lot of red tape, running into legalese, running into stagnant mindsets. All of those things can be deterrents when you're trying to put something together like this, especially in the film industry. A lot of people don't know that Mississippi has been big in the industry for a while, kind of under the radar a little bit. But even in recent months, we've had a lot of people here that have been participating and shooting their films. What have been some of the challenges since you decided I'm gonna go ahead and keep this thing going? What have been some of the things that you've had to?
As far as Mississippi's always been a player. The Mississippi Film Office is oldest hip hop. It's the second oldest film office in the world, not in the United States, but in the world. The hardest thing by far has been convincing our people that we're good. It's letting them realize that our talent is not subpar to any talent in the world, and believing that you deserve to be in this space, and not only do you deserve to be in this space, you should be dominated.
Yes.
That is by far has been the hardest challenge.
Yeah. So you had a week of activities. What can we look forward to as the crowning jewel of the JXN Film Festival week?
Well, the crowning jewel will culminate in the Black Tie Awards Gala. It's an Oscar-ish type of gala with our Southern flavor on it, which makes it better.
Yeah.
This will be happening at the Convention Center, and I think at the moment we probably might have 3 tickets. So we may be sold out before the day is over with.
Okay.
But that's the crowning jewel. But we have jewels like Tania Stewart. Tania Stewart's going to be here teaching a master class. We still got space for that. But also, we have a pitch camp. For those people who are saying, how do I take my ideas and get them to Hollywood? We have brought Hollywood here to show you exactly how to do it.
Okay, and how does it happen?
Ashley McFarland, we have a 3-day pitch camp at the Homewood Suites that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's a 3-day camp where she's bringing in a young lady who was the head of scripted content for OWN, showrunner for Harlem that's on Amazon right now, and a producer who's been in the city who helped do stuff like Bring It and other projects. So they will be here teaching. You can can go on Eventbrite, go to our website, sign up for it, but they're going to show you how to not only pitch, but at the end of the program, you're going to pitch your idea to her.
Right.
So this is the person that actually greens light. So this is a wonderful opportunity for those people.
And they can get involved with this particular workshop how?
They can go to our website on the Beat Pitch Camp, or they can go to Eventbrite and go on the JXN Film Festival, and all the events will come out there.
Now, you're a filmmaker yourself, of course, and you've been passionate about it, and you got into this because you yourself went on your own journey in figuring out how to put this film together. And in another interview, we were talking with you about the writer's strike,
right,
and how that's affecting what's going on in Hollywood, and you had some very specific remarks about how that's affected you, but that kind of goes back to how you started and how you put your own film together. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, the writer's strike is a unique thing, man, because they're not just fighting for just getting health care and all this, they're also fighting for what technology is bringing to the table. Because with the advent of AI, they're fighting that they can get your images, and the background actors really need to pay attention to this, because there are a lot of people in Mississippi who do background work.
Yes.
You really, really need to listen to what I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
Because even though it's on the table that they're negotiating for the main actors and principal actors and their images, they're pretty much summing up that the background's they're gonna get their images. and they'll be able to use them in perpetuity and forever. Without giving you any compensation for it. So you really need to pay attention to that, because I got a lot of friends who do a lot of background work. I think this is a great time for independence. This is the time that you need to be working on scripts. You need to be working on your scripts, doing your projects, because at the end of this fight, which might be a long one, there's going to be a starvation for content. And who has it in place already is going to be the people who win.
Yeah. Now, we hear talk about the union. Union this, union that, union trying to get you to do this, that, and the other. So for people that are listening, that are aspiring to get into business, you're talking about being independent, and it's a great time to be independent. But for a lot of people, the union and being in that union is how they get into the big business in Hollywood. So talk about the differences in those two things, and talk about how you feel like, folks from Mississippi that are trying to get involved can either navigate around it or even not get involved in it. And is it worth it to not get involved in it?
Well, I think it's what's best for you. Like a lot of people try to get in the union for status. They think that makes them more legitimate, which I beg to differ. I don't think it makes you more legitimate. But if you're looking for that type of approval and you feel that you need it for your career, for however you drafted, then yes, go for it. But let me tell you how that's working. Like even with our festival,
yes,
we have an actor who's with SAG, and she's making her directorial debut. We are now having to go back and forth with her agents to let her be able to even come see her own project at the festival. Because some of the rules are so stagnant that they can't show up for certain things if certain other people are there, whether it's festivals, whether it's signings, whether it's screenings or whatever.
Really?
So this thing is rough, man. So this thing is rough. So when that organization makes a decision, you pretty much have to adhere to it. And some folk got reserves that they can survive off of.
Yeah.
So they're saying they're also cutting off your potential to make anything while this strike is going on.
Right. So they can't make any money, can't write for anything.
I haven't seen all the rules, but a lot of it is very stringent. That if it's in association with anything that they don't agree with, they can't do it.
And it's crazy because I've heard some people speculate that they're just going to starve folks out until they get to the point where folks are losing cars and houses, and then when they get in financial hardships, of course, they're expecting people to come back to the table and negotiate. It's a very rough business out there, folks.
It's not a speculation. Deadline quoted the execs that said it.
Yeah.
And I followed this guy by the name of Michael Jamin, who was the screenwriter for like Office and all this other stuff. And he said, how did y'all think it was anything else other than this? This has always been the plan to start us out. It's big business. This is cutthroat. Yeah. This is not, I love you.
I mean, well, you've been in the business, and you understand how this thing works. And if that is the case, how is there ever going to be change? Or do you think this is going to be the time where folks are able to hold out and they're actually able? Because we've seen it happen in sports before. We've seen it happen in the collective bargaining agreements in football, basketball, baseball. That whole thing has happened. Are the writers going to be able to hold out long enough to hold these execs' feet to the fire to change this dynamic?
At first, I was thinking it was very doubtful, but with the actors joining on, they got a chance. If with the actors and the writers combining their strength, then now you got more attention, because we recognize the actors on TV. Most folks don't know who write their favorite stuff. So we're kind of disconnected from it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have said no at first, but now with the actors, it's going to be interesting.
So explain too, and this is a teachable moment. In talking about businesses and black businesses earlier, I want to use this platform to be able to teach folks about how these things work. So explain to folks what the actual ongoing debate is back and forth between the execs and the writers and how streaming works, because I don't think a lot of people even understand that.
Okay. So you remember here, what was the big song that Pharrell did a couple years ago? Happy. Yeah, he did Happy, right?
Okay.
So when on the Spotify, even though that song probably went 1 billion spins, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about he only got thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
The streaming is doing the exact same thing with film.
Okay.
These folk are streaming these movies, and they are saying they can't see the books. There's no transparency, so they don't know what they're making.
Right.
So in television, if you get syndicated, then you get residual income.
Yes.
There is no residual income happening in the streaming field. So what is happening is they don't know what is happening, but these folk are making billions of dollars, and these actors don't have enough money. They just. I watched CBS Sunday Morning the other day, last night, this morning, and guy said, I'm listening to the woman in California talk about, and I had to get on the food stamp system, as a writer.
Yeah.
So it's real, man. These folks are starving.
So basically, what he's saying is that these execs, these movies and these shows that you see on Netflix, that you see on Hulu, that you see on Prime Video, all these people, all these shows that you see, they're streaming. And you guys are watching them, and they're racking up millions of streams, and the writers are not getting any residual income off of this at all. The same thing that's happening in the music business as well, and probably not even making as much as the artists are making in streaming and music as well. So the fight now is to make sure that these folks are, making a living and a fair wage. And those are the kind of people that, should be interested in being at the Jackson Film Festival. Now, this film festival is going on. You talked about the Mississippi Film Office that's been in effect for, practically 50 years. How has it been working for them, and, how has the relationship been, and how have they been as, an aid and a helpmate to what you've been doing with the Jackson Film Festival?
Well, after they realized I was real,
serious,
right?
Yeah.
They have been a real big support. This is their second year sponsoring the film, the Pitch Camp, which I'm eternally grateful for that. They have really gone out of the way to recognize the work I've done, and I've been mostly appreciative to that. But before we jump off the business thing, I do want to say this for independents, because
Yes.
when we're seeing independents upload to Amazon, the pay structure for Amazon is something like 0.1 something per spin, right? This is for, it ain't even a penny, it's a fraction of a penny.
It's a fraction of a
penny.
But
the problem is you can't even see how many times it's been spent. You really can't quantify it.
Right.
Now, Country Wayne, however you feel about him, what I do respect about him was he was able to broach a deal with Prime where he could do a pay per, pay for, this, you're going to pay $19.99, you get this. This is business.
Mm-hmm.
Creators are not normally good at business, and what you need to do is you need to partner with folk who have good business sense.
Right.
Because you're saying you need a big contract, but look, I think about what Prince did. When Prince broke away from the record deal, he was doing crowds. He was probably making $300,000 a show, and people were like, "Oh, he ain't making nothing." He said, "But I ain't have to share that with nobody."
There you go.
So we're thinking big, but we really need to be thinking better.
Yeah. So working with the film office and working with the city of Jackson, how have those relationships gone? Because the Jackson Film Festival is going to be something that's going to be big. It's going to grow. We've had the Crossroads Film Festival here for quite a while, but now this is something that I feel like is for us, and particularly for our community, especially now in this day and age, because we have a lot of young people getting into this. So how have those relationships been? And once you got over the hurdle of people understanding that you know what you're talking about and that you're serious, because I know they get a lot of charlatans that do that though. How have those conversations and those relationships been able to blossom?
Well, they're good for networking. They're not always great for funding. And I think a lot of times what people are looking for, they're looking for funding. Funding is not going to always come from those places. There are going to be some, because quite honestly, a lot of times they're fighting for the same well we're fighting from. They just got bigger, bigger dipping spoons than we do.
Yeah.
What we have to do, we have to realize that we got to start taking responsibility for our own projects. When people if you want your children to be able to stay in the state, it's going to take you supporting stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take you support Indie Music Week.
Yeah.
If you want them to continue to stay, because we're looking for somebody else to come save us, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and I think the industry is here. Terrence Howard has been here. We've had Danny Glover here. We've had all of these folks that have been here doing these films, and people are now starting to see these folk walking around and seeing them here in the city and seeing them patronize the businesses here. And those are the kind of things, and I think back to Atlanta, pre-Olympics, in the early 90s, when people started walking around the metropolitan Atlanta area and they started seeing different stars and they started seeing different musicians. And when they knew that they could go out and they started seeing these people, that started attracting people. So, seeing Terrence, I think I saw probably 100 pictures of Terrence Howard while he was here doing different things. And I think that's important to let people know, hey, he was here. That Smith County watermelon video of his made it all over the place. So shouts out to everybody down in Smith County. Those are the kind of things that help in the grand scheme of what's happening. So where do you see this film festival moving forward? You're in year 3. This is the toddler stage, the infancy stage. Where do you see this festival growing, and what are some of the ideas that you have for this festival moving forward?
Hey man, when I made the commit, I was looking for this route South by Southwest.
Yeah.
I mean, that was from day one, and that's still the goal. I mean, my competition ain't to be the best regional film festival in the world. My competition, how do we become the best film festival in the world?
Absolutely.
So that's my goal.
Yeah. So are you trying to do it in the summer every year?
We're trying to keep. It's been a good spot for us. The only issue has been with the theater system because they have the blockbusters. But as far as people getting their last vacation in before school start, this has been a good spot for us.
And the viewings are going to be.
They're going to be at the Capri Theater. We got 3 days of viewing. The 25th, 26th, the 24th, 25th, and 26th at the Capri Theater from 9 to 3. We got about 50, 60 some submissions, man. So it definitely, you're going to see all kinds of stuff. So it's absolutely free. You just need to register through the site on Jackson Film Festival or Eventbrite and come on through.
And you can just walk in, sit down, and the films are going to run. Are any of the filmmakers going to be speaking, talking, any Q&As? What's going to be happening?
Yes. So on our website, we got a screening and showtime to let you see which project is going to be shown. Some of the filmmakers are going to be there. Once their film finishes, they'll go into the lobby to a little area to be set up for Q&A. On Thursday night, we're premiering Christopher Winfield's documentary, A Thirst for Freedom. This is going to be a pretty big deal. It's rewriting the history books of Mississippi about the civil rights workers in Philadelphia. CNN is coming down to cover it. It'll be at the convention center, and right after that, we'll be having a Q&A. But it's Thursday, the 27th, at the convention center at 6 p.m.
And then the gala is going to be?
It's going to be that Fridays. VIP starts at 5:30, and the doors open at 6:30.
Okay. And once again, all the information, the numbers, the contact, how they can follow, all of that good stuff, man, so they can be all in the know about the film festival.
Definitely, Film Festival is Jackson Film Festival. That's JXNFilmFestival.com. Jackson Film Festival on all social media handles. I'm Maximus Wright on all social media handles, and our email is jacksonfilmfestival@gmail.com. JXNFilmFestival@gmail.com.
That's right. That is the good brother Maximus Wright, founder of the Jackson Film Festival. Is going down. Is coming up very, very soon. Make sure that you are following him on all social media platforms.